Uh, If you would stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Latari. Here. Jones.
Here.
Euler.
Here. Approval of city council minutes, motion to approve regular minute meetings dated March 24th, 2025.
Move to approve.
Kushner.
Yes.
Osborne.
Yes.
Latari.
Yes.
Jones.
Yes.
Euler.
Yes.
Thank you.
Adoption of agenda, please.
Motion to approve adoption as presented.
Kushner.
Yes.
Osborne.
Yes.
Latari.
Yes.
Jones.
Yes.
Euler.
Yes.
Thank you.
Item 5, proclamations. We have a few proclamations tonight. This is wonderful. We will do the Arbor Day, April 14th proclamation. Anyone here for the tree board, ESTF? Yes, I am.
Okay.
Arbor Day, April 14th, 2025 proclamation. Whereas the city of Warrensburg has earned recognition by the Arbor Day Foundation as a 2024 Tree City USA community and takes pride in creating a community that places unique value on the planting and caring of trees. And whereas Warrensburg shows its dedication and commitment to urban forestry by the dedicated efforts of the Energy and Sustainability Task Force by committing to an annual community forestry budget of at least $2 per capita and promoting an annual Arbor Day observance. And whereas the University of Central Missouri, located in the city of Warrensburg, has earned recognition by the Arbor Day Foundation as a 2024 Tree Campus Higher Education, and thereby demonstrate a commitment to a beautiful and sustainable campus. And whereas one tree provides oxygen for up to 4 people in one day. And whereas forests in the United States provide drinking water to more than 180 million people. And whereas trees properly placed around buildings can reduce energy bills by as much as 30%. And whereas communities with ample tree life attract more homeowners and professionals and see property values rise between 10 and 20%. Now, therefore, I, Bruce D. Euler, Mayor, along with the City Council of the City of Warrensburg, Missouri, and the Warrensburg Energy and Sustainability Task Force, declare today as our community's Arbor Day. In witness whereof, I hereby set my hand and seal this 14th day of April. Susie, would you come forward?
Sure. Picture.
Appreciate with the Energy and Sustainability Task Force. Thank you.
Yes, thank
And you were founder of the Tree Board.
Yes.
How many years ago?
you.
Long time. That's fantastic.
I can tell you how long I've been here.
Okay.
right. Bruce, do you just want to stay down there?
No. Okay.
Yeah,
He
stay
didn't
there.
want-
Just stay there.
National Volunteer Week, April 20 through 26, 2025. Anyone here accepting? Everybody out there is a volunteer. I recognize
Oh,
somebody.
okay, I'm sorry. Did I give you the wrong one?
Oh.
I did. I apologize.
Oh, okay. Excuse me. Rewind that. Oh, sorry. I'm on it. Okay. National Arab American Heritage Month, April 2025. Thank you for coming here. see it, but it's not yet. Bruce. National Arab American Heritage Month, April 2025. Whereas since migrating to the United States of America over a century ago, men and women of Arab descent brought their resilient family values, strong work ethic, dedication to education, diversity in faith and creed that have added to the strength to our great democracy. And whereas Arab Americans have been making valuable contributions to virtually every aspect of American life, such as medicine, law, business, education, technology, government, military service, and culture. And whereas since April 2021, the United States Department of State has deemed April as National Arab American Heritage Month to recognize the achievement of Arab Americans by increasing awareness and education. And whereas Arab Americans in the Warrensburg community have contributed significantly to enriching and building a better and stronger community. The University of Central Missouri has built a strong tradition of enrolling students and faculty from various countries of the Arab world, enhancing the cultural diversity of our city. And whereas Mr. Alex S. Nassif, an immigrant from Lebanon, settled in Warrensburg in the 1930s. He owned a shoe shop, which was like right here. I remember Mr. Nassif. He owned his own shoe shop, donated generously to the hospital, Boy Scouts of America, the American Legion Post 131, and many other causes throughout his life, and gave all of his life savings to the city of Warrensburg upon his death in 1979. To this day, Mr. Nassif's generosity helps many Warrensburg children through the Warrensburg Schools Foundation. Now, therefore, I, Bruce Euler, Mayor, along with the City Council, City of Warrensburg, Missouri, do hereby proclaim the month of April as 2025 as Arab American Heritage Month.
Oh, one more.
Wait a minute. One more.
All right.
One more.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
No.
No.
Okay. Do we have anybody?
Well, we have boards and commission members that are here.
Okay. National Volunteer Week, April 2026, 2025. And I'll repeat, I see a lot of volunteers, so anyone? Max, how about you?
Volunteer, voluntold.
Thank you. National Volunteer Week, April 2026, 2025. Whereas National Volunteer Week was established by presidential proclamation in 1974 and provides an opportunity to recognize the impact of volunteer service. And whereas volunteers are an essential part of the community, serving in many capacities at schools, faith-based organizations, nonprofits, community groups, and local municipal government. And whereas the city has 12 volunteer boards and commissions that reflect the community's variety of interests. There are many of those, I know. Whereas these volunteer boards and commissions help support and guide the city's services, including public safety, arts and cultural programs, planning and zoning, building code, Children's Memorial Fund, diversity, equity and inclusion, sustainability, historic preservation, health and wellness, and economic development. And whereas this recognition serves as a testament to the transformative power of volunteerism, showcasing the collective efforts of individuals who selflessly contribute to building stronger, more resilient communities. Now, therefore, I, Bruce D. Euler, Mayor of Warrensburg, along with members of the City Council, do hereby proclaim the week of April 20 through 26, 2025 as National Volunteer Week. That's my He's usually the one speaking at all the events. So. You want to come up to this? Pagan, please. Oh, yeah, it'd be great. Thank you.
She's not gonna just check me in.
Barbara, great.
I was
Good to see you again. Good to see you always. Sexual Assault Awareness Month 2025 proclamation. Whereas April is Sexual Assault Awareness Month, SAAM, a time to draw attention to the prevalence of sexual assault and educate individuals and communities about how to prevent it. And whereas sexual assault, abuse, and assault are widespread problems, every 68 seconds, another American is sexually assaulted. And whereas in the United States alone, nearly 1 in 5 women and 1 in 67 men have been raped at some time in their lives. There are, on average, 463,634 victims of rape and sexual assault, age 12 and over, each year. 1 in 4 girls and 1 in 20 boys sexually abused by the age of 17. And whereas sexual harassment, assault, and abuse can happen anywhere, including in online spaces. And whereas 2025 marks the 24th anniversary of SAAM. And the theme of this year's campaign is Together We Act, United We Change. This campaign focuses on enhancing public understanding of sexual violence, amplifying the voices of survivors, and empowering us to work together to promote the safety and well-being of others. Now, therefore, I, Bruce D. Euler, Mayor, along with the City Council of the City of Warrensburg, Missouri, encourage the Warrensburg community to act together to create a change towards preventing sexual abuse, assault, and harassment. In witness whereof, I hereunto set my hand this 14th day of April, 2025. Thank you for what you did. And you're speaking later, right?
She is.
Yeah, you
I
are.
am. I think that's this one to her. Thank you.
Item 6, an ordinance declaring the results of the election of 2 council members for a 3-year term at the general election held on Tuesday, April 8th, 2025, first and second reading. Presented by Jody.
Thank you. Thank you, Mayor and City Council. This afternoon, I've received the official certification of election results from the Johnson County Election Authority for the April 8th, 2025 municipal election. The election was held for 2 candidates for council member positions for a 3-year term. The results of the election were as follows. Eddie Osborne, 895 votes, and Bruce D. Euler, 910 votes. Both council members, Osborne and Euler, were reelected to serve another 3-year term. Congrats. Oh, I guess we have to approve that first. If you have any questions, I'm happy to answer questions.
We have a first and second reading.
Motion to move to second reading by title only.
Kushner,
Yes.
Osborne.
Yes.
Latari.
Yes.
Jones.
Yes.
Euler.
Yes.
An ordinance declaring the results of the election of 2 council members for a 3-year term at the general election held on Tuesday, April 8th, 2025. This is for adoption or rejection. Kushner,
Yes.
Osborne,
Yes.
Latari,
Yes.
Jones,
Yes.
Euler.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Congratulations.
Thank you. Ready? Council Sine DA. Okay,
Presentation.
Okay.
I'll let you go first. Eddie.
that's with Eddie.
Mhm.
Eddie, a certificate of recognition with respect and gratitude. This certificate and recognition coin are given to Eddie Osborne for 3 years of dedicated exemplary service and leadership as council member for the city of Warrensburg, Missouri, after being duly elected on April 5th, 2022 municipal election.
Please stand up.
Okay.
And I have a certificate for you. With respect and gratitude, this certificate and recognition coin are given to Bruce D. Euler for 3 years of dedicated exemplary service and leadership as council member and mayor for the city of Warrensburg after being duly elected April 5th, 2022 municipal election.
There's more.
It's not a parting gift, but it's it's a lovely gift for you.
All right.
Very nice.
Thank you, Eddie.
Okay,
How
thank
did
you,
you
Bruce.
Jody, roll call, please.
Oh, we need number 8.
Oh, number 8. How about swearing in the new council member? Good.
You both stand. Welcome to have this in front of you.
Okay.
If you would, please raise your right hand. We'll do this together.
Okay.
I state your name. Do solemnly swear that I possess all the qualifications for the office of city council member as prescribed by law, that I support the Constitution of the United States and the state of Missouri, the provisions of all laws of the state affecting cities of the third class, and the ordinances of the city of Warrensburg. Congratulations.
Thank you, Jody.
Officially sworn in.
Thank you.
Thank you. Roll.
Roll call, please.
Kushner,
There.
Osborne,
Here.
Latari. Here. Jones. Here. Euler.
Here. Adoption of new business agenda.
I move to approve the new business agenda.
Kushner,
Yes.
Osborne,
Yes.
Latari.
Yes.
Jones,
Yes.
Euler.
Yes. Item 11, election of mayor.
I move to elect Mayor Bruce Euler to another term as Mayor Bruce Euler.
Second.
Okay. Kushner,
Yeah.
Osborne.
Yes.
Latari.
Yes.
Jones.
Yes.
Euler.
Yes.
Thank you.
Right there.
Okay.
Item 12, election of chairperson pro tem.
I move that we appoint Eddie Osborne as chairperson pro tem.
I second that.
Kushner,
Yes.
Osborne,
Yes.
Latari.
Yes.
Jones.
Yes.
Euler.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Item 13. I know this is going to be fun. I told you. Motion to approve the 2025 Nancy J. Anderson, Charles W. Stevenson Scholarship Education Endowment Fund in the amount of $1,000 is awarded to Drew Munsterman. I've asked their city manager.
Come on.
Drew, come up, please.
We haven't met, but I'm Mike Sprague and I enjoy working with your dad. I'm the city manager. Have a certificate and a recognition coin for you, and then we're gonna tell people a little bit about you. So the certificate and recognition coin are proudly presented to Drew Munsterman as a recipient of the Nancy J. Anderson Endowment Fund fiscal year 2025 annual scholarship award for higher education in the amount of $1,000. I think it's noteworthy that, the things that were on Drew's application and the things that made him stand out is that the scholarship committee was impressed by his academic achievements, earning a grade point average of 3.9078 with a multitude of leadership activities in National Honor Society, including service hours, stealth works at Whiteman Air Force Base, regional high school competition and competitive internship, teacher's aide for honors English language arts, and extracurricular participation in basketball, baseball, and assisting as junior coach for a boys basketball team. All these qualities reflect his dedication and hard work, and I wish you the best. Congratulations.
Good job, Drew. Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Congratulations, Drew.
Mhm.
Item 13.2, presentation on Survival Adult Abuse Center, also known as Survival House, presented by Tegan Plummer, board member, Survival Adult Abuse Center, AKA Survival House. Thanks, Tegan.
Hello, City Council people. Thank you very much for giving us this opportunity to present this evening. And again, thank you for the proclamation and recognition to Sexual Assault Awareness Month. This is a problem that is very prevalent in every community. And as such, as an organization who handles domestic and sexual violence, we wanted to come here today to raise some awareness with the issues that are prevalent in our community, as well as what we are doing to intervene about them, and some of the things that are upcoming and exciting about that. So I'm gonna try this clicker. It may work well. I don't know. You gave me a button. That was a wrong decision. So we are Survival Adult Abuse Center, also known as Survival House, to the locals here. We are a nonprofit 501c3 organization that helps provide services to clients who have been a victim of sexual or domestic violence. We have plenty of programs that help with in-shelter services as well as outreach services, which we'll get into on the next slide. Gonna make this quick as possible to respect y'all's time. We service the Johnson County area as well as the Henry County area. We have a shelter here based in Warrensburg at an undisclosed location. We also have an outreach center over on 137 Colton Street as well. And then so some of the services we provide, we have housing services, we have shelter, and sometimes in some cases we'll help with the transitional cost of those services. We also help victims with getting their documents such as birth certificates, driver's licenses, social security cards, things that you're gonna need to be able to go get a job after such a traumatic event. Next, we also do have a licensed counselor.
She's the master's level therapist.
We have a master's level therapist. Thank you. I always get the term wrong. So Kiosha, who is absolutely phenomenal at helping our victims through some of those times of need as well. And we also help with essential resources such as food, clothes, utilities through donations generously provided through the community. One of the things, so these are our statistics for 2024. We helped 10 sexual assault victims through a sexual assault exam. 241 sexual violence survivors were provided services by survival advocates just for sexual violence. This does not include domestic violence instances. We had 87 sexual violence related hotline calls and 121 support groups provided to clients for sexual violence in the previous year. So that's just a little bit of what we are doing in the community. The big thing that I didn't put on here is we are currently looking to build a new shelter. We have already gotten the land. We've already purchased the land to do so and are in the preliminary stages. And invite anybody who wants to learn more about that to please talk to us. Please talk to me or our executive director. We have a lot of passion for what we do. As you can see, we serve a lot of people in this community. who have been through some of the most traumatic times of their lives, helping them turn it around. So I thank you for your time. And for my first time presenting in front of city council, I thank you and bless you.
Thank you.
And taken, please, everybody at Survival House and all your volunteers, tell them thank you very much too from all of us. Appreciate the great work. Item 14, public hearing. Public hearing on an ordinance amending section 27-406 of the Code of City Ordinances of the City of Warrensburg, Missouri regarding parking requirements for land use 5.500 daycare centers, preschools, presented by Barbara Carroll, Director of Community Development.
Thank you, Mayor and City Council. The school district is in the process of converting the former Woods grocery store at 1047 South McGuire Street into a school facility. They made a presentation a few months ago and had a recent ballot issue to renovate that building into a multi-use facility, which would include early childhood classrooms, as well as some facilities for their buildings and grounds and their bus operations. And so in the review of their initial plans and at the request of their design firm, Insight Design, the city did undertake a review of our parking requirements specifically for daycares and preschools. So the parking for that building would be based upon each of the individual 3 uses. And so they asked us to look at the one just for the preschool and the daycare portion. You have in your packet the results of our review. We looked at other communities in the state of Missouri and found that our requirement, which was our current requirement is 1 parking space per teacher or employee workstation, plus 1 space per 200 square feet of gross floor area. And applying that to this project would require 160 parking spaces just for that portion of the building, the use of the preschool use. When we look around the state, we found a wide variety of requirements. Some are based solely on number of employees, some based on number of classrooms or number of students enrolled, some a combination of that, some based on square footage, a lot of different formulas, but also a wide range of results, anywhere from the lowest we saw was a community that required, for the same project that we would require 160, would require 11 spaces. 2 communities we found like that. Others, several in the 45, 30, 26, 50 range, and then some on the upper end, around 101, Sedalia, Kirksville, Jeff City, and Joplin at 127. So a lot of variety. Staff did feel that ours at 160 would be excessive compared to what everybody else is doing. And in addition, then we decided to check that against existing projects in our own community that have recently permitted in the last few years, including All Stars Daycare near Young and PCA Road, as well as the Christian school there by the Casey's on Young Street. And so we are comfortable making the recommendation, having looked at those examples in our community as well as in the state, recommending that we change our requirement in 2 ways. We're recommending that it be 1 space for each employee on the maximum shift, recognizing that daycare in our community can be a 24-hour need and operation. So that would be 1 on the maximum shift, not 1 for all employees that they have. And then also 1 space per 400 square feet of gross floor area. So half as restrictive as we currently are. Staff has recommended that and provided that table and those examples I gave you is in your packet, and that's available online if anyone wants to look at that. With that requirement, then the new requirement applied to the project would require 102 parking spaces for the early childhood portion. The bus portion requires 8, and the building facilities requires 15, so that would total 125 spaces for the use of that building, which the current site plan they've provided has 145 spaces on it, so they should be able to meet that with no problem, I would anticipate. At the Planning and Zoning Commission last week, they recommended approval. The school district was represented at that meeting and they had no additional comments at that meeting. I'd be happy to answer any questions if you have any questions this evening.
I just want to say how much I appreciate, when I looked at this chart, I thought that was a lot of phone calling and looking through ordinances.
Kristen did that. I will pass on your appreciation.
That was a lot. So thank you. And mentioned a couple times is the making sure there's room for the pickup and drop off and making sure that that's not getting in the way of pedestrian or vehicular movement. So I just appreciate that that's also part of it, because it's not just a parking lot like a grocery store would be. There's going to be traffic moving through. So just in case anyone else had a question about that, it's part of the plan that's accommodated for.
It is part of what they've been designing, yes.
No question.
Did anybody sign up? I'm
Okay.
sorry.
It's a public hearing, so we're just seeing if anyone has signed in. Thank you. Yep, we have one. David Arnold. You come forward, please. Nope. Okay.
No?
Doesn't wish to speak. Okay. Close.
Mhm.
All right, we'll close the public hearing portion of this. Thank you. Item 15.1, an ordinance amending section 27-406 of the Code of the City Ordinance of the City of Warrensburg, Missouri regarding parking requirements for land use 5-500 daycare centers, preschools. Presented by Barbara Carroll. Anything?
I have nothing additional.
Nothing for, any questions? Okay, we have an ordinance.
Motion to move forward by second reading by title.
Kushner,
Yes.
Osborne.
Yes.
Latari.
Yes.
Jones.
Yes.
Euler.
Yes.
An ordinance amending section 27-406 of the Code of City Ordinances of the City of Warrensburg, Missouri regarding parking requirements for land use 5.500 daycare centers and preschools. This is for adoption or rejection. Kushner,
Yes.
Osborne,
Yes.
Latari,
Yes.
Jones,
Yes.
Euler.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Item 15.2, an ordinance authorizing the city manager and the city clerk to execute a contract agreement with Richter Excavating and Plumbing LLC for the 2025 curb and ADA ramps project in the city of Warrensburg, Missouri, presented by Jason McCarty, Public Works Project Manager. Hey, Jason.
Good evening, Mayor and council members. Susie, I'm not gonna say how long I've been working here, but you were on the tree board when I started.
It's a long time ago.
That's been a while.
Well, but Barb was first voluntold, so she was voluntold even before you were.
So, a little background on this project. So we used to do the curb and ADA ramps with the sidewalk with a small budget several years ago. The past 2 years, we rolled the curb and ADA ramps into the mill and overlay project. And with the intent that that would be subbed out by the asphalt crew to a concrete crew. A few minor issues that we ran into with that. First of all, whenever we touch a street for doing major resurfacing maintenance work, we are required to bring the ADA up to compliance if it's not already there. And then to facilitate a cleaner looking street if there's curb that needs repaired or whatever. So the problems we ran into were, the timeline of getting that contract executed, getting that sub in here, getting that concrete work done in time for it to cure out before the mill and overlay. So this year, we broke it out and made it its own project, still under the budget of the street maintenance program. And with the intent that this should get local bidders, which we did, and get it done in a more timely fashion so that we can work the schedule with the weather and everything for getting the mill and overlay done later in the summer. So, as your packet said, we had 6 plan holders, 2 bidders submitted. 1 was non-responsive. They were in excess of the 5% on the mobilization cost. So, and they were a little bit higher than Richter's bid. So before you tonight is a ordinance authorizing the execution of that contract. If you guys have any questions for me, I will take those now.
So I guess, clarification for me, this is not the sidewalk program.
No, ma'am, this is nothing to do with the sidewalks.
Okay.
All they were gonna be touching is the detectable warning and ADA ramps.
Okay.
We will be putting out a sidewalk project later this summer, similar to what we've been doing the last couple of years, where we will be touching sidewalks. There's a couple of streets that we're doing in the zone. We've been working the sidewalks.
Right.
And similar to last year when we did, or not last year, the year before, when we kind of did a complete street project on Main. We touched the curbs, we touched the sidewalks, we touched the ADA ramps, and then milled and overlaid that, and it made it a really nice looking street. Then we cleaned it all up. So I believe Warren Street is on the list this year for the mill and overlay, and we're looking to try to do that same project. But the sidewalk project will be coming out a little bit later.
Okay, perfect.
So
Thank
this
you.
is just touching the ADA ramps where they touch the street, and then the curb work for that project.
Thank you.
Any other questions for me?
No, we're happy about the Warren Street because a lot of visitors to Warrensburg come in that way.
Specifically running down to the college for the multipurpose
Yeah.
building and
Right.
and baseball field and that kind of stuff. It does get a lot of traffic. down
That's
and off.
really
good, north-south.
Yeah. Great.
Motion to move to second reading by title.
Thanks, Jason.
Thank you.
Kushner,
Yes.
Osborne,
Yes.
Latari,
Yes.
Jones.
Yes.
Euler.
Yes,
An ordinance authorizing the city manager and the city clerk to execute a contract agreement with Richter Excavating and Plumbing LLC for the 2025 curb and ADA ramps project in the city of Warrensburg, Missouri. This is for adoption or rejection. Kushner,
Yes.
Osborne,
Yes.
Latari,
Yes.
Jones.
Yes.
Euler.
yes,
Thank you.
thank you. Item 15.3, an ordinance authorizing the issuance of a sewage system revenue bond, state of Missouri direct loan program, series 2025, in the maximum principal amount of $22 million, prescribing the form and details of the bond and authorizing certain other actions and documents in connection therewith, presented by Phil Adlich, interim public works director.
Good evening, Mayor, City Council members. Tonight, we do have Sarah and Todd with Gilmore and Bell, our bond council representatives, and they will be available for questions if I can get to answer them. This ordinance is the state revolving fund that we are applying for, and this gives us the authority to sign these paperwork so that we can get the loan and get the project started and off running. It is $22 million. Don't remember the percent, but it will be really inexpensive APR, somewhere around 2%. So if you all have any questions, staff recommends that we go ahead with this, so we can get started and done.
Is the plan to start the project as soon as this is approved?
Well, so once we get the paperwork signed, we will tell our CMAR to go ahead and they are ready. The bids have already been turned in. We've got all the paperwork ready for them to say contractors start purchasing your stuff so that they can get the stuff here. Of course, the loan document won't be signed until the 24th. But that's, you know, the CMARs said that they've done this before where they can say, go ahead and start ordering stuff. Because this is pretty much the final step.
Mayor and council, I'd offer one thing that I think is noteworthy. It was in the staff report for those that may be listening at home or otherwise. The state revolving loan fund provides an interest rate that's 30% of market rate, and then they do have an administrative fee that they charge at the state level. But to get the 2%, roughly 2% rate that Mr. Adlich referred to, it's through that loan program. It fluctuates with the market, and the market's a little volatile right now, but it's still considerably less than we would get at just a general market rate. And the estimated cost savings over the life of this bond issuance is, to us, is $5 million.
Appreciate the hard work, and it's been a long process to get here, so.
Well, this part's getting over, but we're starting the rest. I mean,
Yeah,
right.
Jason will be out the 24th.
We're excited to start breaking ground on this project and get it going.
Thank you. Any other questions for?
Thanks, Bill.
Motion to. Motion to move to second reading by title only.
Kushner,
Yes.
Osborne.
Yes.
Latari,
Yes.
Jones,
Yes.
Euler.
Yes.
An ordinance authorizing the issuance of a sewerage system revenue bond, State of Missouri Direct Loan Program, Series 2025, in the maximum principal amount of $22 million, prescribing the form and details of the bond and authorizing certain other actions and documents in connection therewith. This is for adoption or rejection. Kushner,
Yes.
Osborne,
Yes.
Latari,
Yes.
Jones.
Yes.
Euler.
Yes.
Thank you.
Item 16, appearances of the council not listed on the agenda. We have two. Jacob Erdman, if you'd come up and just, if you want to speak, you got 3 minutes, and just state your name and your address, please.
Hello, everybody. My name is Jacob Erdman, 1107 South Windsor Street. I just started an engineering firm over in Windsor, Missouri. I, like to do business in the community, and I just want to introduce myself. Born and raised in Windsor, Missouri. My dad's from Warrensburg. My mom and dad both went to school here. I played Mules National on Sunday, and I shot the course record. You should call them. I served 2 years as a councilman in the city of Windsor. So I'm familiar with this. You all have a smoother operation than what we ever did, but we had more heart probably. And I look forward to being a part of this community and working with maybe the city, maybe some private people in the audience, and building some relationships. I hope to be here for a while. Thank you.
Thanks, Jacob.
Thanks.
Jacob, not only do I know your dad, but I know your grandmother because she taught art over here in town, Mrs. Erdman. Yeah. Thank you. John Angel wishes to speak. If you would just state your name and address, John, thanks.
I'm John Angel. My address is 625 Northeast 13 Highway, Warrensburg, Missouri, about roughly 5 miles north of Warrensburg. I come to the council tonight to talk about your trash pickup service. I have certainly nothing against it. I think it's very reasonable for a household. $31 for 2 dumpsters on a monthly service fee of $31 is very reasonable. The problem that I'm having, I have some apartments that have 2, 3 occupants, 2 units. And the city people that I talked to said I need to be charged for each unit $31. And I'm not sure that's reasonable. We probably at most 1 dumpster to take care of it. 2 is adequate or more than adequate. And to be charged for unneeded service, I would like to question that on the wisdom that you're compelling us to do that. So that's basically my concern. And I'd like to see one set of dumpsters be plenty for our service. So that's my concern. Thank you, Mayor Euler and council members.
Thanks, John.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you. Miscellaneous matters from the mayor and or city council. Anything?
Related to that, just, I've had a few people talk about, well, give me feedback about the waste service, and I would say about 90% of that has been positive and about 10 not so positive. There've been some folks who've asked if we could ask Constable to make some clarifications on the page that describes how, recycling and other things need to be handled. Especially because it seems like there are multiple questions that are asked multiple times of staff, like, should they put recyclables in bags? Is, certain kinds of things that are and are not recyclable. I had the opportunity to go to the materials recovery facility that our recycling goes to over in Harrisonville, and got some tips directly from the site manager about how to make things easier and more efficient in their process, like crushing cans, because otherwise aluminum cans, when they get crushed, tend to catch plastic and cardboard and other things, and that has to be hand separated, for example. Just a few things like that. So I just wondered if there was a process for us talking to Constable to make some clarifications on their page that's just for Warrensburg, so that when folks have questions, those are answered there. Sort of a FAQ or additions to the information that's already there.
Yeah, I think if council has specific feedback, reference to their page, we can provide that to them.
Okay, that'd be great. Thank you.
Could it be part of the marketing program that we're using to get the information out, where we include information on this is how you recycle, we need the cans crushed or not crushed, washed or not washed, or
The social media posts that staff writes, that Jessica writes, we can change those at this point. The ad buys for the McDaniels pieces, which are the feed ads that are forced into people's feeds. Those are pretty much already all set.
okay.
Those videos are set, et cetera, but we can get that out on the city's Facebook page on our organic posts.
I think it actually would be good if there was a short video showing, if you do this, this happens, but if you do it this way, it goes smoother.
Yeah.
And it probably wouldn't take much video, maybe
Right.
30, how much do you have? 30 seconds or a minute, something like that?
Yeah.
Um,
Well, and the folks, and so our recyclables go to the Green for Life facility, and they allowed us to take still pictures, but we couldn't take any video of the process.
Oh,
But I do have some still photos, and I'm sure they would also share some still photos, but I do think it might be helpful for folks to see it is a real place. It is a multi-million-dollar facility. They invest in it regularly. It is cleaner than you might imagine. It's cleaner than I would have imagined. They employ 25 to 28 people. It is a real thing. Our recycling actually gets recycled. It actually goes from there to many other, second layer buyers who use it for products. So I think if we could, at some point, include that in the messaging, it would help people understand that it really doesn't just go into the landfill. It really does go to the Smurf. And they employ quite a few people as well. Thank you.
Thanks, Susie. Any other matters, comments? Item 18, city manager report.
Thank you, Mayor. I've got a few items. Conversations have been ongoing with Evergy about streetlights in the downtown, both in terms of lights that are out and the repairs that are needed, as well as that transition from high pressure sodium to LED. So I drove the downtown last night. By my count, I could have missed some, but by my count, I saw 6 lights that are out at the moment. And then conversations are ongoing about just confirming the cost to make the transition to LED, but there was a budget allocation previously, and all indications are that the cost will be well within that budget allocation, so. Just waiting on a couple more things, and then I can authorize everybody to make that transition. In the meantime, you probably have seen some lights are much brighter and much whiter than the others. The LEDs are noticeably brighter and whiter than high pressure sodium, but the sodium's a dying technology. It's really not an option anymore. The inventory is dwindling, and it's gonna have to go to the LED in the near term. Also had conversations this past week with our staff representatives with Retail Strategies, really just getting up to speed on their services, their contract, their deliverables, as well as kind of past experiences on our behalf. Their contract is up for a decision point for you by May 1. So essentially, your next meeting, I'll be bringing that back to you for consideration. In the meantime, that initial conversation I had with them is prompting considerable follow-up. So I hope to have more between now and 2 weeks from now. And then lastly, I'll defer to Phil on McGuire. So let him have the glory of that. But with respect to streets otherwise, the county commission have posted for the first time a meeting with the area engineer for the Missouri Department of Transportation. I was able to attend that. They were relatively new in the position, I believe, and give an update on the number of projects. But the things that are probably of interest to us that I took note of were the modification of the Business 50 interchange. That is supposed to start in September and be completed by December, is what she reported. And she described it as getting rid of the left turn. So it'll be right in, right out, left in, but no left out. So if you're trying to get on 50 and go west, west, you would need to enter from McGuire, or you'll find yourself having to make that traffic movement to get reoriented. On that note, J-turn work will begin within the district on the west end first. The tentative start date for that is May 5th. And not any immediate work plan in proximity of Business 50 or any of our interchanges, but they are getting started on some of their J-turn work and on the 50 corridor. And then Highway 13, they've got a project from I-70 to B Highway. It kind of dovetails into the work that the county's doing as well. She indicated that it's a little bit behind schedule. They're hoping to be letting the contract about now, but they're still working the right-of-way acquisition and the surfacing and right turn lane work is kind of the scope of it. It could be this winter or even into next season before they're able to get that project going. So I do think it's going to be a monthly meeting. It's a good opportunity for dialogue. I did follow up with her on some more specific questions I had related to Warrensburg, and still waiting on answers back, but it's good to have that line of communication established and then an opportunity to involve staff and possibly the mayor at future meetings and get into a little bit more detail with her at that point.
I think Jan has a question.
Can you tell what they're looking for?
Yeah. I'm like,
Can you help me with the McGuire Street 50 highway interchange?
So at the Business 50 interchange, the traffic movements will be right in
Business 50,
Business 50.
down there by Carlisle's.
Right.
Okay, now at least I'm in the
Yeah,
right geographic area.
McGuire, so I might have added to the confusion, but at the Business 50 interchange or entrance, will be right in movements will be allowed, right out movements will be allowed. Left in movements, but left out will no longer be allowed turning.
So they'll have to, if they're going out that way, they're gonna have to right out, come up to
Right.
McGuire Street,
Also
cross over and go. So they're forcing another J turn.
in a roundabout way, yes.
Yeah.
So
okay.
facing north on Business 50, you cannot turn west any longer. Because right, left, I'm not about that. North, south, east, west. Okay, all right.
Today, you can make all those.
All right.
When this project is done.
Got it. Yeah, that will change that.
Now, are
That
they,
will change some folks.
It seems like they're going, and this was discussed a long time ago, and it's gonna force a whole lot more traffic on a bridge that's overloaded now.
Yeah.
That was part of the opportunity to meet, that was brought up as well, is that just highlights, the need for the McGuire interchange project.
That's a,
Not to mention emergency equipment and
Yeah,
going westbound, you're not gonna be able to
That's
cross
very
over
busy
and extend the lifetime of.
Yeah, I didn't try to talk them out of the conclusion that they're doing, just try
Yeah,
to
but-
understand it.
Mhm.
As well as they have
I
a
mean, that's-
conversation about in downstream impacts and how we can.
did they mention how far down 50 highway they were coming towards Warrensburg with the J turns? There was talk at one time that the crossover at Lost Beach Motors was also going to be turned into a J turn.
Yeah, well, as I said, that I had follow-up questions that I'm waiting for answers on. One of
That's
those
fine.
was the J turn location.
And are they going to the east of 13 and putting in more J turns?
Got the impression they're gonna work from the district west to the east. And there are a number of locations, but I don't know the specific.
So we probably should attend that meeting more often.
Well, that's the first one, but I'll be sure to attend from now on. Yes.
Thank you.
yeah, thanks for noticing that was happening and attending.
The county commission deserves the credit. They recognize that those type of meetings are occurring in other counties and initiate.
Great, that's great news. Good.
Any other questions for Mike? No. City staff update, Administrative Services Department.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. I do have some updates for you tonight. I wanted to give you a governmental relations update after our time at the Capitol a few weeks ago, specifically on some things that we talked to our legislators on. The first is the legislature is trying to pass a tax cut bill this year. And one of the main things that they were looking at was the exemption on food from the sales tax. And that's something that we talked with our legislators about at length. At this time, that is now off the table, so it sounds like they got a lot of feedback from communities across the state on how big of an impact that would be to cities. So that's now off the table, so the only thing on that tax cut bill currently that would affect us is a sales tax exemption on broadband supplies and equipment. So that's a much smaller impact than what the food sales tax exemption would have done. The next thing that we talked about a lot with our legislators was the bill that would require cities to pay for the costs of relocating telecommunications infrastructure in the right of way. When we talked to them, we said that that would probably have had $1 million impact on our McGuire project and would have huge impacts on future road projects. And we were not expecting this, but when that bill came to a vote on the House floor, it failed 69-77. So as of now, that's a huge win for cities across the state. I'm sure it won't go away, but at least for this year, we think it's now. Lastly, something that I wanted to bring up is we attempted to do this last year, but didn't make it through. Our lobbyists are working on giving us the ability to pass a public or to authorize us to work on a public safety sales tax. So in Missouri, the legislature has to give specific authorization to cities to put a public safety sales tax on the ballot. So we are on one House bill right now that did make it out of committee. The lobbyists are looking to put us on some other bills, kind of tax on other bills that are moving through the Senate as well. So this does not mean that we have to move forward with a public safety sales tax on the ballot, and it doesn't have any time frame of when we would have to do that. It just gives us the ability at any point to put that on a ballot to go to the voters. The other thing that is exciting for us, I'm gonna let the chief talk to you about for governmental relations. So a little teaser there. The next update I have for you is an exciting staff update. Our very own Paula West in municipal court applied and received her advanced court administration certification from the Missouri Association of Court Administrators. That's a huge achievement on her behalf. To receive that, she had to get a letter of recommendation from the judge and meet several requirements, including a certain amount of time as a court clerk, holding an office on their state board, and various continuing education requirements. So they are going to recognize her at their annual conference this year with a plaque and kind of a recognition there. So I wanted to just make sure that you all knew about that really awesome achievement that she just reached. And then my last update is that our professional organization called the International City Managers Association, they started a Veterans Local Government Management Fellowship. And we are now officially on the list as a host city for whenever there's a transitioning service member that might be interested in a career in city management. So this program would be no cost to the city. It's a 4 to 6 month program through the Department of Defense Skill Bridge program. And really what it does is it would allow a transitioning service member to work in the city manager's office, be mentored by us, work on special projects and kind of get a lot of opportunities to learn about city management, because that's a career that a lot of people don't think about, but there are plenty of city managers that came from service backgrounds. So I'm really excited for that. I really hope that there's some interest there since we're so close to Whiteman.
Right.
So we are officially on that website as a host community whenever there is someone that's interested. So
That's great.
I will make sure that we pass that along to our contacts at Whiteman so that they have that information as well.
Great. Thanks,
Thank
Chris.
you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
City staff update, city clerk.
I did provide a report in the packet. Working on Laserfish repository at this time, updating users, also setting up multi-factor authentication. I've notified the Missouri Ethics Commission of our new city manager, the change in city manager, and so we are in compliance with that law. And then I just had a note at the end of the packet report to ask you all your interest in attending the annual conference in September in St. Charles for MML. So if you could get back to me on that, I'd appreciate that. The registration opens the end of April, and history prevails that I need to register right away or else the good spaces are gone. So just get back to me when you can.
Count me in.
Count you in. Okay, thank you. And that's all I have for now. Thank you.
Thank you, Jody.
Mhm.
18.3, city staff update, community development.
I would just highlight in the packet, we had our first month totals from the solid waste program. They handled 345 tons of trash. 49 tons of recycling was recycled. 45 compacted cubic yards of yard waste was collected. And then 560 bulk items were collected for everybody except Monday. This is again our bulk item week. So put your one item out this week. Monday wraps will be next Monday. It is the third pickup of the month, not necessarily the third week of the month. It's tricky like that. So, that's all I have.
Can you remind me where the yard waste goes?
The yard waste is going to Lee Summit.
It's turned to a mulch, isn't it? That
Yes.
is then used in commercial applications like vineyards.
I'm not sure where
orchards.
it's used. But I do believe it's mulched, yes. I haven't
Yeah.
been to the facility.
I think when when I asked earlier, it's not mulched down little like we would use in our garden. It's a rougher mulch. So it's least some. Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? No. Thank you, Barbara. City staff updates, fire department.
Nothing to add, just the March activity reports in the back.
City staff update, Parks and Recreation Department. 18.6, city staff update, Police Department. Chief Munsterman.
Council Mayor, want to start off by appreciating the fact that Drew, my son, was awarded that scholarship. Nancy Anderson, actually, I believe, if I remember correctly, it's been a long time, but she swore me in, so it does mean something. And he has big aspirations to be a doctor, and he's already talking to me about how expensive that's gonna be. Brought up, so every little bit helps. And then from there, I stole from Kristen, Assistant City Manager Kristen Dorman, the Blue Shield program. So if you have anything you want to add on this, whenever I'm addressing it, please feel free. Governor Parsons, recognized us as along with, 15 other, agencies to start out this program. That's pretty exciting. Sedalia, Arcel, and Johnson County were the surrounding areas. So thank you for passing that resolution to get that pushed forward. At least opens up the doors for us to possibly receive more grant funding to assist finance with. So thank you on that. A few of these things, normally I don't have this much on short notice, but some things came up right at the end of last week, and then, so I want to address them. Social media and media, just keep in mind right now from the police department standpoint, the media, social media they're grabbing are probable cause statements, and they're sometimes putting out the correct facts, but a lot of times they twist it a little bit to bolster the report. That makes you question, why didn't I know that? Well, the rest of the story is coming if you ask. So just keep that in mind as we're working through some of this. And then I'm excited after 15 years of being in the police department, that stairway window upstairs, I believe with that last rain. Now Marcy can attest that her buildings had problems too. I think we've got it solved, but that was a long time to make it. Thank you for being patient. And also we hired 2 new records clerks, started on Monday. Madison Winberg is full-time, and then Chloe Moore is part-time. And then our Durango that was totaled, thanks to the city manager, we've been able to find one up in Kansas City, so we got a replacement coming. And our Ford truck is finally coming in the next week or 2, and I haven't let you know that, but I got that information today that it's coming in. So questions for me?
Is that a new one coming in?
The Ford or the Durango? The replacement Durango?
Yes.
It's brand new. Yes,
Perfect.
it's up, it was on a train, so we kind of did an emergency purchase on it, because it was arriving in Kansas City. And it was cheaper than the one we bought last year. So after getting 3 bids, or 2 bids and referring to our last year's bid. So
I'm glad to hear the window maybe dry finally.
I probably shouldn't have said it. But they,
Is this
I
the
do
big
feel they
window
got that
at the
information. Last
staircase?
time we had that big rain, that it did leak, pretty proportionately, and, this time, not what I think. we got.
Kind of with that, did we ever get to funding or the blinds up on the north side?
Yes, so into last year's budget, they did term freeze some money, and
Great.
we were able to get them ordered, so we at least have operational, blinds. If officers want to put them down, they can
Yep.
for safety reasons.
That's great.
All right, any other questions? All right, thank you.
Thanks,
Thank you.
Steve. City staff update, Public Works Department.
Evening, Mayor, Council again. So, the other day, we said some stuff in energy and sustainability task force about our renewable energy agreement that we have with Evergy. Thanks to Mike's questioning Evergy and all that, he has found out that it was in 2020 that we entered a 5-year agreement. That 5-year agreement is now over, but we are still available to reactivate or reapply. And so we are going to try and chase that and see what we can get accomplished with that in the new agreement. So that's one thing that we're going to be working on. Heard, hopefully the jet truck might be coming back this week after it's repaired. Had a PTO transmission issue the week after we received it, so hopefully it'll come back fixed and be good to go. McGuire. Good thing is that our sewer pipe is completed through that area. We still have 2 contractors out there doing gas and water. So it still will have lots of construction along the area. The contractor that was doing the sewer is taking a week to repair all equipment, make sure it's all operational, and then they will be starting sidewalk, curb, driveway, and then after that, we'll be moving forward with the road reconstruction. Evergy, if you remember, we've said They're hopefully starting June 1st, sometime the 1st of June. They're actually out to bid, or I think they have the bids up now, or. So they're moving ahead and hopefully we'll have movement of poles in June. So lots of stuff going on in McGuire. We did buy signs for entrances for some of the, or we'll be moving those signs on for businesses as we move up the corridor here and there, trying to help people realize that this is where they gotta enter for that business. So trying to help our businesses out. The projects out at the plant, the SCADA project's moving along. Hopefully it will be done by the time that that company, Empire Electric, will then turn right around and start on the plant expansion portion of what they're supposed to. So lots of stuff going on. Any questions?
Any questions?
I'm just wondering, that pipe that's along the, along McGuire.
Gas pipe. Down
Okay.
here. from
Yes,
Railroad Bridge
Yes.
South, that is Miller Pipeline, and that's a gas main that
Okay.
they're going to replace for us.
okay,
For them, but because of us.
gotcha. Thank you.
Thanks, Phil.
Thank you.
And last but not least, city staff update, Warrensburg Convention and Visitors Bureau. Marcy.
Good evening, Mayor, council members. I would like to let you all know, we love our grants at the WCBB. And the board had their monthly meeting last Thursday and approved me to apply for a $65,000 grant to help us with our marketing efforts. It includes print and digital. So we'll be applying for that at the end of April. I'm really excited about that. We're utilizing some of those funds to do some geofencing for FIFA World Cup 26. Already thinking that through. And they also approved me to apply for a grant to redesign visitwarrensburg.com. Visitwarrensburg.com will be a robust website that will bring a lot of engagement. We're hoping to see our bounce rate drop dramatically. We do a lot of digital. We're projecting the grant that I just mentioned earlier, the $65,000. It's a 50-50 matching reimbursement grant. So it's a total budget of $130,000, which is the majority of our budget. We really honored what we said when we asked the voters to increase the lodging tax from 2.5 to 5%. We were gonna put that towards advertising, telling our story. It's exactly what we're doing. Well, we're gonna utilize the part of that 130,000 for the FIFA World Cup. Part of that is digital and print. We're gonna be doing 60,000 total in digital through that grant. We need to have an engaging website that draws those conversions. And we're gonna do that. We're gonna apply at the end of April. We will know in July. And we are hoping to launch a new website, visitwarrensburg.com, in February, just in time for the World Cup. And we'll also have a new visitor guide. So we've got a lot going on at the Visitor Center. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions? Okay, all right. Nothing else. Meeting's adjourned. Thank you.
We have some signatures. Don't go away. I have to do it.
My own and yours.
Yes. No, I don't think you need to sign it.
Oh, I just have to sign my own.